Hi there, awesome friends. Today we're playing with our three-dimensional stickers again, but this time I have put them underneath my tape. So I've already prepped these two cards for you, and just so you can see, they're called puffy stickers. You can get different ones at your craft shops. These are pretty old. I've had them for probably more than 4 years. So I want to just show you, if you can see, they're probably about a millimeter or two thick. So never used them before. Let's see how well they work with our metal tape today. So where are we? I have already crumpled some 30 micron metal tape, which we are going to use today. And here we go. Remember, we peel off the backing and we place our card on the tape. Okay. Peel off the backing and place the card on the tape. And for those of us who are joining, or those of you who are joining us for the first time, remember one of the reasons that I like to crumple the tape is that it gives a very nice effect on your final project. And when you crumple your metal tape or your copper tape, it is also much easier to handle. The uncrumpled tape curls onto itself and is a lot harder to work with. I would say that 99% of my projects that I use metal tape or copper with, I always crumple the tape. Also just want to remind my lovely friends that I'm in South Africa, so I've had a lot of people asking me where to get the copper tape. I'm sure you can get it on Amazon, but I really can't help you in recommending where to buy it. I know in South Africa it's pretty scarce, but yeah, contact me if you're in South Africa. Perhaps I can help you, but for my overseas or international friends, sorry, I don't know where to recommend you get it. I'm using a paper stump, paper pencil, and this is no fancy one. It's just one that I've covered with metal tape. And I find that my paper pencils last much longer when they are covered with metal tape because they don't unravel. So gently using my paper pencil, I am going to go around my raised sticker, my puffy sticker. And I think the easiest thing to do first is probably go around the edge. And you can see from the beginning of the video that I never stick anything close to the edge. I always leave about a 5 millimeter gap around the edge, and that just gives your tape a place to stick properly so that it doesn't peel off. Just keep that in mind. So now you can actually see how puffy these stickers are. Okay, we have to work quite gently with our paper pencil, and you can see I'm using little circular movements, and you are going to tear your tape because of the height of the puffy stickers, but that really is not a problem because once you ink your project you won't notice those tiny tears. Okay, now take your time and work slowly. And you are stretching your metal tape. And hence you have to work slowly. If you skip this process of using the paper pencil, then you will be guaranteed to tear your tape if you try and technique it in any way. So don't skip this spot or this step. Okay. And don't be afraid if you tear the tape, because that's going to happen. And I'll show you now. When you're working with any embellishment that has got height and you're working underneath your tape, you are going to tear it. So I want to show you. I have torn it there. I have torn it there. I've torn it there. I've torn it there. It's fine. I'm sure there'll be a lot more tears. Okie dokie. And metal tape is a really beautiful, inexpensive product to work with. And for beginners out there, you can generally find your 30 micron tape at a hardware store, and they sell it in 50-meter rolls, and it's 5 centimeters wide, 2.5 inches wide. So give it a try. You really need a paper pencil and a fat Sharpie and a ballpoint pen, and you can get started. So it's not one of those crafts where you have to go and buy a whole lot of stuff. No, you really don't waste a lot of money if you are starting with metal tape. Okay, and now we're going around. Remember again, little circular motions. And there's lots of little tiny tears. That's fine. It's really fine. Okie dokie. Now that's a sound that I haven't heard in a while, are the lawnmowers, because the ground has been too wet to mow grass. Everything is just mud here. And I'll lift this up again for you so you can see all the little tears. So these fat puffy stickers are actually really lovely to use. You can also use chippies, you know, the heavy cardboard embellishments that you buy for scrapbooking. They will also work really well. If you don't have puffy stickers, you can use chippies. And as much as I love the look of the final product, I don't often use these dimensional things. So I don't know if you can see all the little tears around here. So now we've smoothed this down really well, and I'm going to technique the background a little bit. So once again, using our ballpoint pen, this one I'm going to scribble. Okay. You can do other background techniques, but I encourage you to do a background technique with this. It will really make your project pop. And then very lightly you can go around your design with your pen like this, very lightly, otherwise you are going to go through your tape. Let me just show you. Okay, so don't be afraid of putting your pen or your tool through your tape. It's bound to happen. And here on the edge, remember, you always work towards the edge, not this way, otherwise you hook your tape. And I'm a little bit out of practice with metal taping. Yeah, I've been trying to take care of my shoulder and my arm, so I haven't done any projects with the background techniquing because it's a little bit more labor intensive. And I find that, you know, the small motions, you know, this little motion, it's so small, but that's actually what causes my shoulder pain the most. So have a look there. The detail's looking great, don't you think? So yes, this little scribbling motion I find very irritating for my shoulder. So have a look at that detail over there, and then here. So for people that say to themselves, oh, I can't do that, I'm not artistic or whatever, this is one of the easiest things to do, and you don't have to have any artistic ability. However, I do want to say that when I decorate things, I will always put a little bit less than most people, because I always think, you know, one flower will speak. You don't have to cover your entire card with things. And, you know, if you're going to use, let's say, a lighthouse, then I'll keep to using the lighthouse and maybe put some sea backgrounds on, you know, waves or something like that. But I won't use a lighthouse and a car and a horse, for instance, because that's just, you know, stuck things down with very little thought to a theme for your project. So I encourage you to stick to a theme, and when you ask yourself, should I put something more on? Don't. Less is best. Let your cards be a little bit of art. If that makes sense. I was very pleased to hear recently, actually the day before yesterday, that some more of my artist trading cards have reached their destination. One of them was posted in January, and it arrived now near the end of June. And the other one was posted in March and arrived also near the end of June. So it's very confusing to me that some cards can take 14 months and others can take 2 or 3 months, and some never reach their destination at all. So I honestly don't know what's going on with our mail. And I keep thinking that it's a unique thing to South Africa, but I think there's a mail problem all over the world. Honestly do. Okay. And here we go. Okay, what I'd like to show you is that if you look carefully, like there and there and there, it's very difficult to try and show you on this video because you can't see clearly, but basically everywhere I look there are little tears in my tape, and that's perfectly normal. So here we have done our background. I can see I missed a spot here, so let's just do that. And I've used the scratching technique or the lines, and that looks great. I'm going to quickly ink it for you so it can dry, and we won't have time to do the other one, but what I would like to show you is just a little bit of the refresher of the different technique. So here you want to get your ink into all the nooks and crannies, and I'm using my Sharpie, my M15 or the W10, the bullet or the chisel Sharpie. And I have used different markers, none of them work like the Sharpie. Okay. Okay. To make sure you get into all those little nooks and crannies, and that's pretty well covered, I think. We'll set that aside to dry, and in the meantime I'm going to just start with this. I'm not going to finish the whole thing on camera for you, but let's just get it going. And what I will do, even though the card is not finished, is I'm going to show you a little bit of background technique that you can use for a different look. Okay, so I've roughly gone around and flattened the tape. Sorry, there's a little hooky thing there. Okay, and I'll go back later and sort out the rest, but in the meantime I wanted to remind you of the scribble technique. So you are honestly scribbling like this all over. Just remember, be careful when you get to the edges that you don't hook your tape. And I'm scribbling, 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 big circles, little circles, and I'm going to ink that just to remind you on the lines look great, but so do these scribbles. Okay, and I'm going to ink that. I will show you the completed card. It should be part of the video photo. Okay, so we'll let that dry. While it's drying, we will gently, now you have to be extra careful, we will gently buff. And you can see I'm not doing it this way. I'm using the point of my buff, the edge of the buff, because I don't want to buff through the dimension, the tape that's on the dimension, because it's very delicate. So I'm gently using the edge of the buff and the corner to take some of the ink off. So most times when I use the buff, you'll always see a buff horizontally, but remember, this has dimension, so you can't do that. And all those tiny little tears that you saw in your metal tape, you don't notice them now once it's been inked. And even if you did notice them, it actually looks like part of the design. And I'll give you a little squiz now. And I'm looking for my lappy. So a lappy is just a little scrap of cloth. This is an old t-shirt. And I'm just gently rubbing with my finger in the lappy. Okay, and now just to show you again, over there you can see there's a little tear, but you really have to look for the others. But how gorgeous is that? And the dimension is just amazing. Okay, so let's just look at this one. Remember, I haven't techniqued or smoothed down anything. I've only done a partial part of the background just to give you a reminder on how you can technique your background. My lappy again. So how gorgeous is that? And don't you love the dimension of the puffy stickers? Take care, and remember, use chippies if you don't have puffy stickers, just to practice with the dimension. And don't be shy if you tear your tape. Give it a try.